Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 Morning Show. 4 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. We love showcasing indie artists on the morning show, and today we're heading to Philadelphia to chat with country rock singer-songwriter Michael Botte from the Michael Botte Band. The band was born in 2020 during COVID, and they've been releasing music ever since. Their latest single, Beautiful Day, is out now. We're excited. On the phone, we have Michael Botte. Mike, thanks so much for coming on.
Jeff, my man, thank you for doing this, and I want to know how great things are out there in Big Sky Country.
Pretty nice. It's actually been gorgeous the last couple of days. Scattered showers, but looking good.
Yeah, one of my favorite places. Love it out there.
Nice. Well, you grew up in Pittsburgh. You live in Philly. So I was going to ask if you're a Steelers or Eagles fan, but I think you're a Penn State fan.
So I could be all three, correct? No, that's a very good question. Yeah, I graduated Penn State University back in 1993. However, born and raised in Pittsburgh, I bleed black and gold, but I know where I live, so I can like the Eagles. They're, AFC, NFC, they have nothing to do with each other. And what I always joke is if they do play each other, maybe it's for a Super Bowl, and that'd be a great thing to have. Who knows?
Oh, if that happened, that would be insane. In Pennsylvania. Yeah. I went to Pittsburgh for the first time last year. I'm a huge Steelers fan. And I went to my first Steeler game, and it was crazy. The people and the gear, it's insane. I've never seen a town that represents their team as well. I mean, I go to Denver, the Broncos, they're crazy in Denver, but I've never seen a city like Pittsburgh that everybody has Steeler gear of some kind. It was awesome. I felt love. Or I felt the love. Well, you got the band together in 2020 during COVID, but you tried to get a band together in Oakland in the mid-2000s. What happened? Why didn't it happen?
Yeah, good question. So, I was living out in the Bay Area, and I had just started to kind of play the guitar again, like for the second time, because I tried it when I was younger and threw it out of the window. I couldn't get it together. I just couldn't do it. Jeff, I will tell you, I thought that when you play guitar, all you do is hit a couple of strings with your left hand and just maybe softly stroke with your right hand, and these angelic sounds were going to come out. And I will tell you, Jeff, that's not how it happened for me. So when I was living in Oakland, I met this traveling cat from Australia named Sebastian Beltrami, who's one of my best friends today, and kind of taught me how to play a little bit. And he and I were starting to write, doing like singer-songwriter, acoustic stuff. And then he went back to Australia, and I met up with some cool cats who were in a garage band. And I tell you, the funniest thing, we were a garage band, Jeff, that never, ever liked to leave the garage. we just love the safety and being in the garage and writing our own music and doing all that stuff. And then, I moved away, life took over, some people moved away, and then it just didn't work out. And then, of course, COVID came and, things changed.
Yeah. Well, I think your wife was going to school out there, right?
Yeah, so my wife was going to San Francisco State University, so that's one of the things that brought us out that way. But, for me, I always wanted to live in the Bay Area, always. It was just a dream of mine. And I miss the Bay a lot, I really do. I don't miss the expense, I don't miss the traffic,
yeah.
But I miss the Bay Area, I really do.
So why Philly? What took you back to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, so, born and raised, in Pittsburgh, of course, but when I graduated Penn State, I just took off. I never came back. I've lived in all 4 time zones in the U.S., out west, in the Midwest, in the mountain country. I was in, New Mexico for many years, so I've been all over the place. And then, we had our daughter out in New Mexico, out in the desert of New Mexico, just loving life. And, it was one of those things that my wife's from New York, I'm from Pittsburgh. Everybody was back east, and we were out there in the desert just doing our thing. And it's just you had to make a decision for the greater good. Matter of fact, my first song, New Rising Sun, is all about us making that decision to come back east. And if you look at a map, Jeff, guess what's right between Pittsburgh and New York? Philadelphia,
yeah.
That's how we got here, yep.
Huh. Well, go check him out. Michael Botte Band. He's at michaelbotteband.com. It's Botte. He's on Facebook, Twitter. Go to Spotify and listen to his songs. The latest single, Beautiful Day, is out now. I saw where in the 90s you were obsessed with Jim Morrison, which I was a huge Jim Morrison fan when I was a kid. We're close to the same age. You wrote a song called The Other Side for Jim.
Yeah, it was one of those COVID things where I had time to just do stuff, record and write, and I guess I had a lot of things to say and the time to say it. And I thought, you know what, why not try a more modern rock kind of song as my tribute to James Douglas Morrison, who I was obsessed with a long, long time ago, and I finally did something, and it was more in that modern rock kind of vibe. And right now I'm kind of landing more in that alt-country kind of country rock vibe. But I'm like, you know what? Let me rock out. And I did that song. It was completely self-produced. Everything was me. I hadn't had my producer just yet, so I kind of just did that one on my own for fun, and it was a totally fun song to play, honestly, Jeff. It was great to put that one out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The older we get, I think the more music we like, because your influences, you talked about David Crosby, Jim Morrison, you get to be all over the place, I think, when you get older.
You do, and even like starting out as a young age, my musical experiences were just pretty diverse, even from a young age. But you're right, as you learn and learn, and honestly, as I've been more in this indie music community, Jeff, you know this, there is so much ridiculously good music out there that unfortunately probably a lot of people won't hear. So it's part of my duty, not only as an indie artist, and even you too. Thank God for people like you that do things like this for us. My duty to try to get that out there. So I do like the big mainstream bands, but man, there's so much good music out there that we got to get out there, and people like you do that for us. So thank you.
Yeah, go check out any indie artists. They're all over the place. They're different genres, different types of music, but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff out there that nobody ever hears, which is sad. So COVID hits. Is that when you met Bob Beals, or how did you and Bob hook up?
Yeah, so Bob's my current producer, Bob Beals from Sound Foundation Studios. So I know it's going to sound strange, but we just hooked up in a Facebook music group. I mean, I was kind of learning and growing and studying voraciously to try to learn how to record and produce. And oh my gosh, I watched so many videos and studied so much. And I put some demos on a couple of Facebook music groups just to get some feedback and opinions and thoughts. And Bob was one of the people who responded, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit. And matter of fact, the song that he responded to me about, we haven't even done yet, but he and I just kind of met and just instantly hit it off, and we had great visions together, and we had a lot of the same likes. And so he lives in Ohio, unfortunately. He lives 7 hours from me, so he and I do things virtually back and forth, and I go to a local studio here and record things and send him files, and he records and sends me files, and we go back and forth. So yeah, we just met over a Facebook group, and I have yet to physically meet him face to face, which is sad. But that's, you'd be surprised, Jeff, how much music is made virtually. You probably know this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I've known people for years, and I still haven't met them because, virtual or mute. I mean, it's crazy how the internet works. But Bob, I mean, being your producer, he must have a musical background for putting all your songs together.
Oh my goodness. If I wish I could do a segment just on the experience. So Bob is a 40-plus year veteran who has been the front man of bands. I mean, I've watched his videos and seen his pictures. He was like stud front man, singer, guitar player for numerous bands, played for thousands of people. And then as the years progressed, he just kind of, I guess, went to the other side of the desk, if you will, the other side of the console. And now he mixes and masters and produces. And matter of fact, he is getting so busy. He's going to be going full-time now soon enough, which is just wonderful. So he and I, we're doing 3 songs roughly, I guess a song every 3 months roughly. But heck, man, if he's going to be full-time, I have a book full of songs to keep us busy for a really long time. So we may do a little bit more. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I heard an interview you did where you'll send him an idea and you won't hear from him for a while. And you're like, well, what the heck's going on here, Bob? And then all of a sudden he reaches out and he's got everything laid out and done or ready to go.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that. I did say that on another interview where, I'll send him sort of my demo. And then at first I didn't really know how Bob worked. But what he does is he just has to sit there. And I know it may sound cliche, but he has to sit there and just allow the song to tell him what it needs. So weeks will go by, and I'm like, oh, man, did the file not go through? Is it stuck somewhere? He hasn't said anything. Is it awful? Does he not want to work on this song? And then he'll come back with, his demo, and oh, my goodness, it's worth the wait, definitely. And then we go back and forth and kind of, dial it in. But, yeah, he goes kind of rogue for a while, and I think, oh, geez, where'd he go? But that's just the way he works, and thank God he works that way because what he brings back and what he adds is just phenomenal. I can never do this by myself. I tried, Jeff. I put out a self-produced EP when I first started. I was so excited, and it was a respectable output, honestly. But now that I've met a professional producer, I ripped that EP off out of the universe, Jeff, so fast, and it's gone forever now. Who knows? He and I may redo those songs one day, but yeah, Bob's been around a long, long time. Thank God for Bob.
Yeah. Well, go check out Michael Botte. It's Michael, Botte, band.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter. His latest single, Beautiful Day, which you're going to hear here in a minute, is out right now. How have you been doing it? Being an indie artist, you got to be a one-man gang a lot of the time. You've been slamming people with emails, sending out your stuff. Do you have somebody helping you? How are you doing it, Michael?
Yeah, that's a great question. And all indie, bands may do it slightly differently, but for me, a lot of it at the beginning was just, DIY. I mean, I did, oh my God, so many. I would just peruse the radio stations and the Facebook groups, trying to find stations that were interested, like you, in playing my music. And you just got to reach out. You got to send MP3s. You got to build a list, build a contact list, and do all that. And then as I progressed a little bit, I met a couple of radio promoters that I kind of use here and there. So it's more, I do a lot myself. I'm all over Facebook continually because you got to stay relevant and you got to stay out there. But I do have some radio promotion help who do some things for me. Matter of fact, Beautiful Day that you're going to play is now charted at number 6 in a couple of European indie music charts because I have a phenomenal radio promoter that put me out into Europe. So I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah.
Yeah. What does your wife think? Finally getting to this point in your musical career? Is she like, thank God it's finally happened? Is she like, I'm tired of hearing about it? What is her thoughts?
So what's funny was when I first started playing guitar many years ago, she was over it after a couple months because I was just awful. I mean, I remember trying to play an F bar chord, and she was like, for the love of God, just go to a different chord. Like, are we done already? But no, she's very supportive, and she's so happy that I have this in my life. And anyway, look, Jeff, I have a full-time career, I have a family, I have all that stuff, but I don't know where I would be today without music, because for me, music is therapy. People do different things to keep their mental health in check. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's proper medications or professional therapy. For me, Jeff, it's writing and playing music. I don't know where I would be without it. And she's incredibly supportive, thank God.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And Beautiful Day, the latest single, this is one you've had in the lunchbox. I mean, when was this thing written?
Well, what's funny, it was only written a couple years ago, but it's all about days, 30 years ago. I mean, when I was a kid and we were just first married, living in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were in our early 20s, and our best friends and I would get together every weekend and just kind of cruise around the countryside and just love life and love on Mother Earth. And it was just all about those carefree days, about friendship and adventure. And so I finally, put pen to paper and wrote a song about those carefree days as a youngster, just loving life, and it just finally came out, and I'm so happy at the way it came out. I mean, Bob and I put a little bit more of a beat to this one, and gosh, I'm so happy the way it came out, so I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, no, it's a great song. Memorial Day weekend, we doing anything?
Yeah, actually, I'm heading down to the Jersey Shore, which you've probably heard about the Jersey Shore, and this is not the TV show, trust me. Not at all. But yeah, my daughter's heading down to the shore, so my wife and I have a separate place, let her do her thing, and we're gonna spend the weekend at the shore with the dogs and just love life down there at the beach for a few days.
Nice. We can hear the dogs. What do you have, Michael?
Yeah, I'm a single dad right now. My wife and daughter are gone, so I have the dogs, and they just ran outside. So I have Teddy Bear, who's 10. He's a golden doodle, and then his younger sister, Ginger Girl, who's also a golden doodle, is 5, and they are my my second and third child, if you will.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you get on the phone, they got to make noise.
Every time. Yeah, every single time.
Never fails. You've been cranking out a single every 3 or 4 months. Beautiful Day came out last month. What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, funny you should ask, because just a couple days ago, with today's Wednesday, so it would have been Sunday, Bob and I just finished up at least the direction or the demo for our next release, which will be in July. And Jeff, this song's very different. It's a little bit slower pace, a little bit more acoustic bass, singer-songwriter-ish. It kind of starts out that way. But it's much more vulnerable, very, very different for me. I'm kind of exposing myself a little bit in this one. So it's different for us, but it was time to kind of slow it down a little bit and do a song like this. So in July it'll be out. It is called My Way.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. In
we
July,
did it my way.
He's doing it his way.
Did it my way. Yep.
That's for sure. Go and check him out, Michael Botte. He's at michaelbotteband.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter. Go to Spotify. Listen to the rest of his singles. Here is his latest single. It's called Beautiful Day. Michael, thanks so much for coming on.
Brother, thank you so much for doing this. Hopefully we get to do this again one day.
Oh, we definitely will. It's Beautiful Day. It's Michael Botte Band. It's KIX 96.5.